before getting into my marketing career, I didn't know the difference between performance marketing and retention marketing.
I think in digital marketing, we are always like pioneers of, just innovating effectively.
Yeah.
And it's good to step back to be like, is this right for us? Does this work?
Sometimes you have to take one for the team.
Yeah.
You know? And this is a little bit of taking one for the team.
You have to have a leader of the customer team be really strong.
Hey friends, welcome to Above the Fold podcast. I'm your host, Jess Servion. We're going to be talking about everything in your customer's journey. You're going to learn things about customer experience, brand experience, and marketing secrets that help you drive your brand success. So stay tuned, buckle up, and let's get into the episode.
Welcome back to another episode of Above the Fold podcast. This week, I am in London, England, and I am joined by Lisa Nielsen, Senior Digital Marketing Manager at Victoria Beckham. Lisa, welcome to the show.
Hi, Jess. Thank you so much for having me. Happy to be here. It's my first podcast. I'll say that.
She's going to do great.
Be gentle.
Oh, absolutely. Tell the audience a little bit more about yourself, about your career and stuff.
So I have the very important job of convincing everyone to buy another little black dress on a weekly basis. So, it's big stuff and really important stuff. My career kind of started in kind of the digital marketing space, like very, I didn't really think that I would be in digital marketing. I kind of did a fashion marketing degree and wanted to just break into a fashion brand. I think like anyone really that's doing a degree in the fashion sector, they just want to work for a brand. They want to work for a magazine. They want to do something. Mm-hmm. So I had my first kind of big break I got the call in a stockroom when I was like a retail assistant in the stockroom. And I got a call from what was my previous job at Sophia Webster, she's a British luxury shoe designer. And they told me I got a job as a performance marketing executive. And I was like, great. What is that?
Oh.
But I had like amazing kind of mentors and like guidance there, which kind of built me up in the performance marketing space. So I started from scratch. I started from, just doing kind of meta ads and building them all the way to like now looking after strategy and having agencies to help me with everything.
Yeah. Dude, I think that's such an amazing story because you didn't know this about me, but I actually went to fashion school.
Okay.
So I tell people at art school, which was art school, but I specifically majored in fashion marketing.
Okay. Yeah. Same.
And the same thing, right? Like definitely learned marketing, learned merchandising, all of those things, but wanted to be a stylist, wanted to work at a magazine.
Yeah, same.
Did not end up in that.
No, I mean, I think we were like sold this dream of like working at Vogue. Everyone was sold a dream of working at Vogue. And it was just like when we got out, we were like, oh, there's a couple of spaces. Like it's super competitive.
So competitive.
So it's not like we're all going to end up doing that. So I feel like, at university level, they don't do an amazing job, I have to say, at like kind of really guiding us to like the diversity of things that are out there for everyone to do.
Yeah.
And certainly digital marketing was not a part of my curriculum whatsoever.
You just learned it.
Yeah, you just learned it on the job. And I always, I have a lot of interns at work, which is amazing because it's like a great mentorship program. But they're like, what's CRM? And I'm like, what? That should be that should be a course. That should be something that you guys are actively learning about at university. You're paying so much money.
I know, because you're so right about this, because in marketing, in e-commerce marketing, right, or even retail marketing, like we know all these terms, but we learn them like on the job.
Yeah.
I didn't know, truthfully, before getting into my marketing career, I didn't know the difference between performance marketing and retention marketing and like what those disciplines.
No, nothing. I'd never heard the terms before.
No.
All I could tell you about is fashion history and merchandising and buying and case studies on brands, but no, and influencer marketing. That's what people thought digital marketing was, influencer marketing and social media marketing.
Yeah, well,
it's come a long way.
To be fair.
It's a big portion of it.
I was just at Cannes, and I can tell you that the entire realm of Cannes Lions was all about creator and like going back into that influencer marketing. So
it's not going anywhere.
No, absolutely. Yeah. But I hear what you're saying. Yeah. What was like a moment for you? So you're in the stockroom, you get this call, like you're starting to work in like marketing.
Yeah.
But when you get into the jams of it, what was the moment for you were like, shit, I'm really good at this?
Yeah. I'll be really honest. I don't know that I always have that. I think confidence is something that like I think I struggle with a little bit. So I'm always kind of having to remind myself that like like I'm, good. You kind of imposter syndrome sometimes, especially when you're kind of working and grinding and doing your job, you kind of stop. You don't really reflect on like how far you've come in a short space of time. So it's definitely my mantra to tell myself this more. But I think probably a pivotal moment was the acquisition of like a Victoria Beckham job.
Yeah.
Because I was like, right, we're kind of in the big leagues now. Like this is serious stuff.
Yeah.
So I think that was like a really like a wonderful stamp to put on kind of my brand, my CV, to be like, right, I've kind of made it in a way. I've done it. I'm working for a brand that I love. I'm working for somebody that I grew up with. Like Posh Spice is a Spice Girl. She was
hello.
Yeah, she was like my childhood. So it's just wild for me to just be in her her same air, to breathe her same air.
Yeah. That's amazing. I know we were talking about this off camera, but like, is she involved in just
Yeah, she's super involved. Like the name on the door is exactly what happens inside the room. She's always involved. She's in the office every day. She drives a pretty cool car to work. She's there every day with the team, amongst her creative team, amongst her design team, super involved. She's got some great opinions on like digital and things like that. So we always take whatever she says on board and kind of try and tweak it and make sure it's making sense for us and making sense for the business as well.
Totally.
But it's so important for somebody to kind of protect the brand. I think in digital marketing, we are always like pioneers of, just innovating effectively.
Yeah.
And it's good to step back to be like, is this right for us? Does this work? Why are we doing the things that we're doing? Is it just because, AI says so? You know what I mean?
Whole other bag, my friend.
So it's important that somebody is like guarding the brand.
Yeah.
And we have to work together. And I've been told this many times in my career, and my directors and mentors, that like, if we're not fighting our own corners, then we're not working well together.
Yeah.
Right? We need somebody to like really be steadfast in their responsibilities and what they own.
Yeah. I mean, I totally agree with you. And I think it doesn't matter if you're a celebrity-backed brand or if you're just a regular brand, right? I think what's really important is that whatever brand strategy and positioning and messaging that you come up with at those initial moments of launching your brand onto the market, that becomes your brand personality, your brand's essence, right?
Yeah.
And you have to protect that as you progress and grow.
Yeah, absolutely. And I learned that quite early on, especially in my previous role at Sophia Webster. Also, I worked directly with her very closely, and she taught me like a world of things about just, why are we doing the things that we're doing? Is it part of the brand DNA? Is it part of the ethos?
Yeah.
And it's so important as a digital marketer to remember that, because you get lost in data. You get lost in building campaigns, you get lost in data, you get lost in ROAS all the time. So it's really important to step back from that.
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, I see a lot of brands that don't step back on it. But and maybe it's like different. I don't know if it is different, if this is true or not. But in the States, at least, like there's just a world on like D2C Twitter where it's like everybody is in their own echo chamber.
Yeah.
And like, but we're not taking ourselves out of that.
Yeah. But you need somebody to own it. You really need somebody on your team to own that portion. You can't have one person do everything.
Right.
I know it's going to sound like crazy for people that are scaling, that have small businesses, but you should invest in brand. Like you have to. And that's a predominant principle in digital marketing as well. Like you need to have your funnel. So you need to have that funnel internally also.
Yes. I absolutely agree with you. I mean, God, for the people in the back, say that one more time. You need to invest in your brand.
Yeah. Invest in your brand.
Yes. I just want to like go back to your professional career. Just one, because there's one question I wanted to ask you.
Yeah.
So what's a professional risk that you took that really kind of defined how you operate today?
Yeah, I think it's professional risks, plural.
Yeah.
Is things that I'm doing kind of on a daily basis. So a big kind of theme and acronym on my team currently is JFDI. Can I curse?
Yeah, absolutely.
Just
Have you
fucking
met
do
me?
it.
Just fucking do it.
Just fucking do it.
Yeah.
And we just lead in that way. So I think we're, if things aren't right, we need to test.
Yeah.
So a big thing for us is testing and kind of learning. I know I hear testing and learning at absolutely every conference, but it is effectively just fucking do it, right?
Yeah.
Just do it and then take the learnings from it. And if people have things to say, beg for forgiveness.
Yeah.
You're not going to get anywhere if you're not taking any risk, or you're not allowing your opinion or what you think is right to shine. Because people haven't hired you to be kind of just sat there and doing that, like typing away.
Yeah.
People have hired you for your opinion and your expertise.
Yeah. I love that. And I actually love working for those types of companies.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Because I feel like if you don't take risks, but two, sometimes like people can get into their own way of like, oh, well, this is my responsibilities and these are the things that I'm doing and like call it a day and like do, and that's it, right?
Yeah.
But when you're building any brand, whether little, big, doesn't matter. It's like every day is a new day and like you have to just get shit done.
Yeah. Yeah, you do. And it's a big part of how we operate at Victoria Beckham at the moment with our team. And it starts from leadership. Like your leadership really has to set the tone from that. So it's trickled down from my director to me, to my team. Yeah.
Yeah. So you are in a really hot, like fast-paced, high-pressured role. Like how do you stay grounded as well as like keeping your team grounded?
Yeah, it's definitely tough. I think more than ever now we're going through like a lot of things that are going on in the world that's affecting our business for the better, for the worse. And I think it's really important to make sure that your team is engaged and happy. And that also extends to me and like my happiness and my engagement. And the way that we do that is just kind of checking in and actually caring for the team. So I'm a big people person. I'm very much kind of always involved with my team, like extracurricularly as well as I am in work. You know, we spend 6 hours a day together. It's more than I see my best friends and family. Yeah. So it's just about kind of checking in and taking the time to maybe also step away from work and do social things that are outside of work to make sure that we have perspective on what's going on and the fact that, you know, we're doing our best. Nobody comes to work to do a bad job. Nobody does that.
I know. So I know.
Yeah.
But if you did, probably not the job for you.
Yeah, it's probably not the job for you. And we take that. We'll just take that then.
Yeah.
But it's just important to kind of have those like social aspects of work. So culture is a big thing for me in my kind of leadership and people is also very important to me at work.
Yeah, for sure. What's a leadership myth or cliche you'd love to see go extinct?
Yeah, I always have this. We actually just had a course on kind of conflict management and kind of, you know, challenging, because challenging needs to be a big part of a leadership role. You need to challenge. But I think people get lost in challenging being the loudest voice in the room. And I find that really frustrating because I feel like I'm not somebody who likes to shout. I'm somebody who likes to like kind of mull it over, take it away, and then kind of, you know, share my opinions. So I think one of the things that we need to maybe steer clear from is like challenging being conflict and being like kind of having those like tough conversations and people feeling some type of way at the end of the meeting because, you know, we don't agree. I just don't think it needs to be like that. I think we need to like approach things with like a level of empathy, a level of understanding. Yeah. And again, going back to the theme that like nobody's here to do a bad job. So, you know, this person's obviously coming from somewhere. So employ a bit of empathy, you know, mull it over and then kind of respond. Yeah. Whereas I feel like, you know, you'll get feedback from people, oh, you don't challenge enough because I'm not there shouting, you know, at a boardroom or anything like that.
Yeah, or micromanaging.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm very big on kind of, you know, empathy in the workplace and again, just making like understanding where people are coming from and why they're kind of fighting for the things that they're fighting for.
Yeah, for sure. Well, let's switch gears.
Yeah.
What's your favorite marketing channel?
At the moment, I have to say it's a little controversial. It's kind of a toss-up between text and direct mail. So,
direct mail.
Yeah, so we have a direct mail service and after your first purchase, you'll get like an automated note in your mail, but that's handwritten by someone that says, thank you so much for your purchase. We hope that you loved your purchase as much as we love designing it XXXVB. So it's like coming from Victoria herself. So I really love it because we've had like an elation from our customers and feedback being like, this is such a lovely touch to our journey. Yeah. We really, especially at our AOV, it's just kind of not enough to deliver the item and then just be like, right,
see you later.
Yeah. And please come back, you know, when we have a sale. So it's really important to like just have touch points with them. And I think direct mail does that really nicely. And I love that it's handwritten. It's not printed, which is my thing. It's like somebody who sat there with ink and paper and written it out.
Wait, what?
Yes, it's called Inkpact, and they're like a great business, and they work with a lot of.
Are they in the UK?
I believe they're UK based, yes, but they work with some really big people here in the UK. Like I don't know if you know Orla Bar Brown or Deliveroo. They work with them as well, and just they power kind of, you know, this service of really personal touch points.
That's awesome because we have that in the States, and we do a lot of direct mail, like brands do. Yeah. But it's the same thing. It's like it's printed, you know?
No.
And then if I get that in the mail, I like immediately toss it.
Yeah. It gets stuck in that little drawer, you know?
Yeah, literally.
So it's nice when it's handwritten because it feels a bit more like a bit of like a piece of art, if that,
Yeah.
just something to hold on to, something that's tangible, and you can really tell the difference in quality, and you can tell that it's just not, I mean, it is automated, but you can tell that, there's a lot of effort being put into that as well.
How big are the segments that you're sending these to?
Yeah, so it's not, honestly, they're not big. They're probably in a year, probably like maybe 1,000, 2,000 people.
Okay.
So you can do it on a small scale, and it has like compounded kind of, results for everything, for their AOV, for their engagement. We've seen kind of massive uplift in both of those things for the customers that have received this versus not. It's super important to do a control group.
Yeah,
Because you're not going to
course.
understand what's going on otherwise. But we've seen, massive spikes in AOV and kind of engagement on the website and just that, relationship with the brand.
Wow.
Yeah, and I think also text message for us has been massive. I think the notion is that text isn't really luxury. And I think there's this like weird thing that like text is like a dirty word. And it's definitely not. Like, I think it's in fact luxury to be able to communicate to your customer on different channels and be relevant in different channels. So what we do in text is that we often leverage a little bit more of the playful side of Victoria. Victoria's amazing, and she's got like, the best one-liners ever. So we leverage those one-liners in text message. So it's a little bit more her voice, whereas kind of maybe our email program is a little bit more polished and clean and beautiful and kind of campaign.
Yeah.
We leverage like a different tone of voice in our text message marketing.
Yeah. I strong believer of text, SMS, however we want to call it. What I'm curious about though, so like, are you texting like just your UK based clients or like Europe clients? And like, is that through standard text or is that WhatsApp?
Yeah, we're doing it currently through, well, in the States it's MMS.
Yeah.
And up till yesterday, it's just plain text in the UK. And then we launched RCS in the UK yesterday, which is a little bit more branded, a little bit more luxury, amazing. We do it in the UK, in the US, we do it Canada, France.
Okay, so you're segmenting.
We're segmenting, we're doing everything. Different markets have different kind of comfortability with text. And well, first of all, also all of our language is English. So I feel like we need to add an additional layer of like internationalization and language focused if we want to really make a difference in those other markets as well.
Yeah, like I mean Canada, like mixing even French in that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Just to go beyond English, right?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Of course. Wow, that's so interesting because, okay, so I am such a strong believer of like text, SMS, like in the States, like every brand that I've ever worked with, I'm always like, okay, let's do email and SMS. I built our entire SMS program at Feastables. Like we used to have this call out, the CTA that said, text us, we text back.
Yeah. Okay. Love that.
But the best is when we were launched, I was like, okay, so how are people texting us back?
Yeah.
And everyone was like, oh, we didn't figure that out. Just can you? And that's how I became like the SMS expert.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But what's so interesting is that, so on the reverse side of that, I was so used to doing that in the US because our clients were mostly US. And then we started like expanding international, right? And then, but then you're on like the other side. So it's just, it's so intriguing to me how you're thinking about it.
Yeah. I think, again, we're just kind of doing and understanding the results from it. I don't think we spent too much time overthinking it. We were like, great, let's do this, especially in the States where we can leverage our content in the messages as well. So we were like, let's do it. Why not? And it's our highest returning channel for us.
Yes.
I mean, that says enough in itself.
Well, I mean, like no matter what country you're texting or in, like society as a whole in the world, like we're so glued to our phone.
Yeah.
Like this channel is so personal.
Yeah. You need to cut the noise because the inbox is full, and I think people get to it when they get to it, but it might not be in the time that you need it to be. So, when you've got targets and you're under pressure, kind of need to do something that's going to, get the message as quickly as possible to the customer. And that is kind of text.
Yeah.
Or MMS or WhatsApp or whatever people are using.
Yeah, I agree. Hey, y'all. Quick little interruption for a message from our sponsors.
Attentive really is a performance messaging platform. We're not your legacy ESP or engagement platform. We're redefining, with mobile first at the core, the entire customer experience through personalization and AI. And we're really excited to be this next generation platform that brands can count on to deliver these amazing bespoke experiences to customers. Check us out on attentive.com or LinkedIn.
Now let's get back to the show. What do you think that most brands get wrong about lifecycle marketing?
I think one of the things that I've noticed is that I think we're a little bit kind of stuck on, you know, acquisition at times. I think we're not really understanding lifestyle marketing from a, it's hard to describe because you need a CDP. You need an ESP, a CDP that's going to guide you. You can't just kind of, you can do all of the data, you can invent, but if you're a small and lean team, it's really, really hard to get into those numbers. So I think first and foremost, what they'd get wrong is probably they don't have the right CDP. And you need to really make sure that whoever you choose, whatever partner you have is correct for your brand and the scale of your team. So we use Emetria, and they've been great partners for us in terms of strategy and kind of helping us with kind of the retention portion. And retention's become, you know, the focus for us. I think we can't continue to acquire customers at any cost at this point. We need to really focus on the customers that we have and understand their journey. So if they're purchasing once a year, what does that look like? And it's the right message at the right time for them, especially in luxury. I mean, you don't want to be bombarding people. You don't want to be seen as one of those companies that are just like, you know, blasting out, you know, emails. So beyond our broadcast, you need to look at those automations as well based on, you know, Lifecycle.
Yeah.
And I feel like you need the CDP to help you with that because they will be able to segment that data very quickly for you. So I think if you have that on board and you have the right partner there, then I think that makes a world of ease for everyone. Because I think one of the themes for me is that marketers want to be marketers. We don't really want to be data analysts, right? So, you know, it's a bridge, and lifestyle marketing is a bridge of both. So you need to have your CDP do the analytics for you, and you need to be there creating a journey on what you think would be best for the customer with your brand.
Right. I mean, I feel like that was like the most hot, I wouldn't say hot take, but like that's how I think about it as a marketer too, because I came up in customer experience, right? I came up in customer experience, but I also did product marketing.
Yeah.
So, and before there was ever e-commerce in my career, I worked in a lot of startups like fintech, travel tech, like those types of startups. And like, the thing is when you're in marketing and in customer experience on SaaS side is like you're getting people to adopt features.
Yeah.
Like, and your churn looks a little bit different. But when you switch over into like e-commerce, you're doing the same type of thing of like trying to get them to adopt it. But you're also, there's an entire life cycle journey of your customer of like how they buy, why they buy.
Yeah. And the frequency at which they buy. And I think if you're only doing broadcast, it's like you're not, first of all, your message is not landing. It's just not.
Yeah.
And I think the deliverability of your emails goes down as a result of that. So you need to really be really concerned about that.
Yeah.
And you need to be concerned about your subscriptions and who's leaving and why they're leaving and things like that. And sometimes more often than not, it says too many messages. And you need to really take a moment and step back and be like, right, how can we make it less messages, but the right ones?
The right ones. I know. And how do you approach that? Like, yes, I can from a data perspective, but like I always feel like your brand strategy for anybody changes like constantly.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. It's like a work in progress every day. And every customer is kind of different. You can bucket them, but everyone's a little bit different. So I think, you know, understanding a little bit of product affinity, having a dashboard where we can understand product affinity, where we can, you know, say, right, we know that these bucket because they've purchased this, therefore they're more likely to go and purchase this. And then have those flows in place has helped us enormously. Also understanding what their first purchases, what they're coming to the brand for, and then trying to inspire them to do a little bit more. I think at VB, we do some really amazing accessories, and then it's about taking them on the journey to kind of build their wardrobe as well, and the quality of it. And it's definitely not like kind of fast fashion or anything like that. It's so far from it. It's, you know, definitely pieces that you have in your wardrobe forever. Yeah. And taking them on that kind of timeless journey as well.
Yeah. You know what's so interesting about like fashion and when you were saying like timeless pieces and having them, I think what's an interesting dynamic that we're seeing in at least, and I don't know if it's like in my community, but I'm even noticing with my own buying habits, like of not buying like fast fashion anymore. Yeah. I don't know about you, but like I grew up in like that era of like Forever 21.
Yeah, Abercrombie.
Well, I should say these are Abercrombie pants,
but they've done amazing things. Like they've transformed.
Like flipped the script.
And I'm here for it. I'm really here for it. Yeah.
But I think it's really interesting because it's like I grew up in that like fast fashion where it's like, oh, I just need a going out shirt or I need this. And then like, you know, a few months later, I like throw it out. Yeah. But now at least for my buying habits, and I can tell in like my community of friends too, we're more investing in the timeless pieces and like spending a little bit more to have it in our closet a little bit more. And it's just an interesting dynamic that I'm seeing shift in like consumer behavior, because like we are thinking more about sustainability. We're thinking about, it's not just even the earth. We're thinking about the things like,
of course.
you know, I mean, clothing like sits on your skin, absorbing it.
Like plastics, like, polyester. What does that do? There's a world of information out there about like all the
Isn't it crazy?
all the craziness that goes on. And I think also like vintage and resale is a big part of that as well. It's like being able to, if something is, no longer, you don't want to have it in your closet, somebody else is going to love it.
Totally.
And just building that circular economy. I don't know if we've really hacked it. I'll be really honest. I
don't think
know.
we've hacked it, but I think we're on like a...
Yeah, we're on a journey.
Yeah.
At VB, we've actually done something really cool where we've launched kind of a reloved website where, customers can come and trade in their clothing for a gift card to spend on the new collection, which I think is amazing in terms of like a loyalty. So it's like,
Totally.
people are going to want these amazing pieces that you have. And our customers literally have closets full with like the most amazing one-of-a-kind VB pieces. And to give them a new life and to give them a new home, and then also be rewarded for that by like continuing to be loyal to the brand, I think is like a really amazing circle. We're doing it kind of on a very small scale at the moment.
Yeah.
Profitability is kind of a big thing.
Yeah,
right?
of course.
I think, resale works really well, from customer to customer. It's
as
tough.
a company, it's tough. Yeah.
It's tough company. And just taking the photos and like the unit economics of everything is tricky. But I think it's a good thing that we're doing. It's something that we're doing to like, be in this space.
Yeah. I think at some point as a brand, no matter what, right?
Yeah.
Like sometimes you have to take one for the team.
Yeah.
You know? And this is a little bit of taking one for the team
Yeah.
for like the sake of the good of it all,
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if like here, but I know in the US, we're starting to see more and more brands do kind of like that take back consignment. There's even like these take back bags. Like you can buy a bag and like put all of your clothes in there, and then they like go and like, recycle it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's just interesting.
Yeah. I think it's good to be on the frontier of it all in a way, just to see what's going on. And I'm sure it will come far in the next, 5, 2, 3, 4 years.
I know. I mean, one could hope.
Yeah.
I will tell you that there was a Netflix documentary about the way we consume.
I've seen that.
I know. What was that called?
I don't know, but it was almost like aggressive, because I felt personally attacked at the end of it. I was like, ugh.
I know. I was like, okay, I won't shop at Amazon anymore. God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was so, and I think that's great also. Like, that's another thing, like perspective is everything. And like having those different avenues for you to understand like what else is going on in the world is super important. So it's important to like watch these things and keep updated.
Totally. Well, going back to like the life cycle journey of a customer and just in your career, you actually have dropped that. I keep going back to that direct mail thing too.
Yeah.
But I'm curious, when you think about a great customer experience, what does that mean to you personally?
Yeah. I think that if you don't have the customer in mind from the beginning, it's just not going to be a great experience. And I think we're working on it where, you have to pull back and realize again what you're trying to do and what the goals are, and everything is at the behest of the customer. I think it's difficult on a digital team. I think it's difficult on an e-commerce team because you don't have a lot of touch points with the customer on a personal level. So I think our client services team is invaluable to us and the feedback that they give us.
Yeah.
So again, it's just going back to kind of putting the customer first. I feel like everyone says that, but it really is the truth. Like, why are we doing the things that we're doing? It's for our customer.
Yeah.
And if you don't come back to that, if that's not kind of a pillar that you come back to every week, every day, and ask yourself why you're doing the things that you're doing, then I think you're on a different journey. You're doing something else.
Yeah.
You're not here to sell things of value.
Yeah.
If it's not with the customer in mind. So feedback's really important to us. We've implemented a lot of things to get more feedback from our customers, whether it's beyond fit, whether it's beyond style, the direct mail. We love hearing the feedback from our customers that they've loved this. They were like, oh my God, VB wrote me a note. It's like, yeah.
You're like, absolutely.
Yeah, she did. Yes. But I like it. It's like, it's the sentiment. So I think the client service team is like integral to that, and the way that they feed that back to the team as well. Yeah. And also just making sure that they're okay. Because sometimes I feel like they can be on a bit of a back burner.
Yeah.
Because, we've got all these channels that are like glam and like delivering ROAS and cash and like The website's beautiful, but you need to make sure that the customer team's okay, because they're the ones that actually have the wealth.
They're at the front line.
They're on the front line. They have the wealth of knowledge. And if there's something on your website that isn't working, they probably know.
I know. Or you're maybe making their life hell.
Yeah. So I think avenues, to open up more channels to get feedback from your customers is great. I remember kind of discussing as well, just like calling up a customer. And I think it was really interesting. Some of the kind of the younger people on our team were like, that's really weird. And I was like, but how else are we going to get the feedback, So I'm very for those touch points with the customer. We have one store in London. And that's amazing because, like, I've been to a couple of events at the store that we've done just on a loyalty front. And it's amazing to see. We have, like, mothers and daughters come in, that are so invested in the brand, know everything about the brand, dressed in VB head to toe. And it's just, like, it's just an amazing thing to see. And to understand who they are and what they do and what they like, what are their interests. Like, how are we going to target if we don't know who our customers are? Like, how are we going to effectively communicate to them if we have no idea who they are?
I mean, totally. Have you ever shifted your strategy based on customer feedback?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's ever evolving. For us, it's constant.
Of course.
It's constant. If we get feedback and qualitative feedback from our customer, it's implemented. It's done. There's not really two ways about it.
Girl, you're a good marketer.
Yeah, well, I mean, again, why are we doing the things that we're doing? Obviously, it has to have kind of, you have to have quantitative results. It can't be one person being like, I really don't like the font. Like, you can't have things like that.
I know.
But it has to be, in decent enough volume, and then we will make those changes. And I think you see that on our website with the size guides. We have like a little bit of social proofing as well now with reviews, and our emails as well have been tailored to speak to those customers in their life cycle versus the too many emails kind of feedback that we were getting. So we've segmented and we've been really reactive. There's no reason not to be reactive if it makes sense.
Yeah, totally. Was there ever like a customer feedback or a campaign that was given to you and it surprised you, but like in a good way?
Yeah. I mean, I think for me, it's kind of always these quote influencers, but for instance, like if a royal wears VB, which they do quite often, I mean, and the way that lands with our US customers is crazy to me because they love this relationship between like the royals and VB and like what everyone's wearing. So we know to actually message the US about that first before we even message the UK about that first.
So interesting.
Particularly if we're limited to stock, because the US are the ones that are snapping it up right away. So it's really interesting that, what are the influences that you might think are kind of in your home country and what would be like kind of culturally relevant actually kind of lands in a different country versus here. So, sometimes we adapt our strategy to be kind of, US first in those circumstances because we know that, those culturally relevant moments land there better. And I think in general, in my previous role, one of the things that has really changed the business in Sophia Webster was, when, it was predominantly designer high heels and they went up to a size 42. And there was a whole world of people that are actually not a size 42 and actually are, bigger, or have a bigger size than that. So there was a whole collection made that was called Sizing Up. So it's again, just like, taking all of that and changing your business. Because if you have volume in the things that people are saying, somebody should address them.
Yeah.
Supply, demand. It's simple.
Totally.
Yeah.
It's simple. It's so simple.
Yeah.
And like we think about it in those ways of like putting the customer first and like that feedback first.
Yeah.
But girl, there's a lot of people who don't.
Yeah. I think you have to have a leader of the customer team be really strong, be really vocal, and be really kind of owning that channel and not allowing kind of, digital to, sway your decisions, sway your, the priority list that we have. Because I think sometimes, like I said, they do get put on the back burner, but they're on the front line. So we need to bring them up, and also the person that's taking care of that needs to be of a character that's gonna be able to be in battle with us and have those conversations.
Yeah, totally. When your brain is just done for the day, where do you go for inspiration?
Yeah, I love reading. I do a lot of reading in my spare time, and Bookstagram is like a massive thing.
I know. I love that you said Bookstagram because we call it Book Talk.
Okay,
because it's on TikTok.
Yeah, clearly I'm a millennial, so I'm on Instagram.
Oh, trust me, I'm almost 40. I'm an absolute millennial. Okay.
Yeah. So I think reading is great. Like I love reading about like extraordinary lives and extraordinary people in nonfiction, and then I also love reading about fiction and people's kind of a description of relationships or, in kind of an interesting setting or story. So reading is really good for me to just take myself out of the day-to-day and kind of put my mind at ease a little bit. And with that is that kind of theme of perspective again. It kind of puts you back into a different place and understanding, right, this isn't, we're not saving lives, as everyone likes to say, and just taking yourself out of kind of your day-to-day. I also really enjoy just like understanding people that it's going to sound really strange, but I love like a sports person documentary.
Okay.
I love kind of like getting into like sports people and like their frame of mind and their kind of grit and then how they overcome, adversity. So I love kind of understanding people. So I love to like take myself out of things by like looking at like,
different fields,
different
and
fields,
stuff,
like interviews or like Louis Theroux is like a big part of like how I relax,
Yeah.
They're kind of like hefty subjects, but again, it kind of takes you out of your day to day and your own little world and bubble that you live in and gives you perspective on the world. And that allows you to like balance out, everything that you're feeling. So like, documentaries, reading and things, that's really how I kind of relax. I know that might sound strange.
I don't think that's strange at all. I mean, it's inspiring.
Yeah.
It's absolutely inspiring.
I love hearing about people's stories. I love to like hear about extraordinary lives and how people are doing different things.
Yeah. That's awesome. What's a marketing opinion that you believe so deeply in, but other people have side-eyed you on?
Yeah, I think it's again this funnel work, and it's the top of the funnel. And I think that people are looking for conversions, people are looking for ROAS, but people also need to understand that we need to build a brand here, and that exists, in out of home marketing. It exists, with the type of content that you have, and I think working closely with the creative team and having a good relationship with your creative team is probably the most valuable thing that you can do as a performance marketer, because you can ask them to iterate based on what you need to be kind of for each channel that's appropriate for each channel. So I think people really forget about the creative aspect and the creative iteration for different channels. Not one creative is fit for all purposes, which I think people tend to still think that, something that works on Instagram is going to work on TikTok. And I feel like I certainly know that it's not. So I'm not really sure why people are still talking about it as if it is.
Yeah.
So I think, again, just building the awareness and having that relationship with your creative team is super important. And I feel like that doesn't happen. I think, we're kind of trying to just get still and put that on our paid social and be like, right, this is going to work. But it's like it needs to be more dynamic. So I think just having somebody there that's responsible for making sure that the creative team and your team work well together is a really big part of that. And that I will always, die for. So,
Girl, I love it.
Yeah.
You're such a good marketer. I love it. Well, very last question. What's something you've learned recently, work related or not, that made you stop and think or laugh?
Yeah. Well, for one, that I can drink more margaritas than I thought I could, which is good.
Spicy more, girl.
Yeah, we just had our summer party, and that was last night. So the fact that I'm even here,
I appreciate
in full
you.
fucking glam.
Yeah. I got ready today, and I was like, I'm gonna put on a full beat, and then I only did half a beat.
Yeah, but I think it's more actually with the kind of the hot topic of AI and just like how it kind of makes me laugh that people are now using it to like have conversations with people. So like people are using it to like break up with their boyfriends or like have tough conversations. They're like, how do I talk to this person about this?
Dude.
And I just find it really interesting. And people are having relationships with AI things.
Yeah.
And I'm just finding it a little, laughable. I don't mean to laugh at anyone that has that, but I'm just finding it a little bit interesting, the current state of affairs.
I know. You're so right, because about using AI and like tough conversations and just like general, like, how do I say this? Because I even find myself like typing something out and be like, AI, how do I make this sound smarter? Or how do I make this sound more put together,
Also, my first instinct to answer that question was like, will AI be able to tell me? Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like seriously, but no.
Yeah.
So it's like just like using it as a bit of like a crutch, I think, at times for like just expressing a human emotion, I think is kind of laughable.
Yeah.
It's scary.
It is kind of scary.
But equally, I mean, I'm not against it. Like, I think it's like increased productivity tenfold. And I think you can be a much stronger, leaner team with it. So we live in a world where we're we're like symbiotic.
Yeah.
You know?
I do think I've also have like learned a lot quicker utilizing AI.
Yeah.
Like, and I've shifted my opinions about things like
Yeah.
more like a lot quicker without needing to do like such deep research.
Yeah. I feel like research was like, on page 2 or 3 of Google, where it's like, wow, like who's going to page 2 or 3 of Google? Like that required a lot of time and effort.
Right.
Whereas now you can just get kind of a pretty good summary very quickly.
Yeah.
Which I think is great. But I think it crosses a line when when you're trying to communicate with, on a human to human level.
Yeah.
And if you're leveraging that, that's a bit weird.
It's a little bit weird. Yeah. Well, Lisa, thanks so much for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
Where can the audience find you?
On LinkedIn.
We love LinkedIn. I'm a LinkedIn host. So.
I'm a big fan of LinkedIn. I think it's great just to understand what's going on with myself and what I'm doing, but also the people that I follow, my community. Everyone's doing, amazing things. And I think community is a big part of my success. And the reason why I probably sit in the position that I sit is because the people that have brought me along on that journey and the things that I've learned from them as well, and being part of the e-commerce digital community. So I think LinkedIn's a great place for that. LinkedIn gets weird sometimes, but
it's a little weird. I'm slowly trying to make LinkedIn a little unhinged.
Yeah. Yeah, but I think LinkedIn is unhinged anyway.
I know. Well, it's so funny because it's like people will post something and be like, this is what I learned about my career. And I will like post the most unhinged shit. Like I'm just like.
No, but I love it. It just it cuts the noise. That's what it does.
Yeah.
Jess.
Well, good marketers cuts the noise,
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate everybody tuning in for another episode of Above the Fold. And we'll catch you next week. Toodles.
Dang, we've made it to the end of the podcast and you're still here. So thank you so much for listening to Above the Fold podcast. For the best of this episode and every episode, be sure to follow us on Instagram and my YouTube channel. And for deeper dives on the secrets to brand success, don't forget to subscribe to my weekly newsletter, Sunday Postcards. All right, my dudes and gals, see you next week.